Welcome to Klear channel. If this is your very first time jumping on our call on Fridays, just give you a little background. I started this YouTube channel about 8 months ago, and the whole purpose is to share information and stories about people and a message essentially to help you have an amazing day and help you have an amazing life and ultimately to have a great career. So I see a lot of new faces on the call today. So I need you guys to do me a favor. Before we get started, I need you to pull out your cell phone. I see some guys in Cleveland there that are new. Marty, I see you, buddy. What's up? Make sure your friends there that are, new to the call, pull out their cell phone and go to YouTube. Yep, I see a few people doing this. Thanks so much, guys. Type in Klear channel, Klear channel. You're gonna see my beautiful face, and if you could please subscribe. That's all I ask, is that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you like the content, share it with other people. If you don't like the content, share it with other people. So I really appreciate that. Let's have an amazing Friday, and thanks for jumping on. All right, so guys, so I'll tell you, today's call is going to be a little bit different than the calls we've had in the past. We've done some calls with some entrepreneurs, people that are building companies and in leadership roles. And then there's other calls where we have, just a message about leadership and business. Today, I'm gonna talk to you guys about athletes and some things I've read about some athletes recently that I believe is pretty inspiring. And it just goes to show you, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion, you can accomplish whatever you put your mind to. And so we're going to start in the NBA. First of all, today's the Olympics. I don't know if you guys saw the opening ceremonies was happening this morning, obviously over in Japan. There's 205 nations all over the world that have gotten the opportunity to send some athletes to the Olympic. 11,000 athletes are going to be there. Some are obviously repeat athletes and trying to go for multiple medals. Some are there for the very first time. And so if you get a chance to watch the Olympics, I just love watching people that are the best at what they do, the absolute elite of their craft. And I love hearing their stories and what they've accomplished and really kind of what puts them on the big stage. Because, athlete inside of me dreamed of being on that big stage at one point. But I'm going to start in the NBA. By raise of hands, how many of you guys saw the NBA final? Watched a piece of it, saw some highlights of it. So Giannis, right? You guys know the Greek Freak? Is that what they call him? The Greek Freak? What an incredible dude. What an incredible guy. So just tell you a little bit about him. Nigerian. His family moved to Greece his parents moved to Greece to help their children, kind of have a better future. Unfortunately, they were in Greece. They weren't able to get their papers to be able to work legally. So Giannis and his three brothers, to make ends meet and to take care of the family, no joke here, they used to sell consumer goods face to face in the streets of the slums in Greece to put food on the table for their family. I can only imagine the confidence that built for him when he was young into his career and young into his life. And, it's interesting because, he sold things like watches and hats and just, as if you've ever got a chance to travel to other countries, there's different parts of town that do this, that have vendors popping up and they're trying to sell their goods and things. But it's interesting because at the age of 13, things started to shift. I actually saw a video last night, a little bit more detail about his story. And there's a basketball coach that would go around the slums in Greece to find great athletes. And he happened to run into Giannis and his brothers. And frankly, this coach wasn't interested in Giannis. He was interested in his brother. because from what he saw at the age of 13, his brother had more potential. And so as they started to kind of, work with his coach a little bit, got on one of the local teams, because of what was happening at home, Giannis, literally lived at the gym for a period of time because he didn't want to go home because of where they lived. And over the course of a few years, he started getting better and better. But what you guys may not know is that he was a pretty good soccer player. His dad was actually a professional soccer player. And so his dream was to play professional soccer. I can't blame him. Pretty good sport there. And after a few years of playing, he actually quit playing basketball, multiple times to try to go play professionally, play soccer. And then at the age of 17, 18, the coach, the guy that kind of found him, said, he basically negotiated with him that if you pay my parents a certain amount of money on a weekly basis, then I'll focus just on basketball. And he's like, it's so important to me that I take care of my family that, that I'll then focus on basketball if that's what you want me to do. And that's what he did. This guy made an investment into Giannis by paying his family money to live. And Giannis got focused on basketball. And at the age of 18, he got seen playing in some of the Greek national teams. He got his citizenship and other things. And then he got into the NBA draft. And, the couple of things I read about Giannis, and let's see if I can find it real quick. Somebody said he was barely a good D-League player. For any guys that know basketball, it's like the 3rd or 4th division. So people, when he got drafted, number 15 in the draft, were like, Milwaukee, what are you doing? Why are you wasting the draft picks on this unknown kid from another country? He almost didn't get a chance to come to the States because of his visa. He didn't get he didn't have it. And then you speed it up a few years later. He gets drafted by Milwaukee. His first couple years in the league, he got beaten up a little bit. Scrawny, not very strong, just really got pushed around in the league. There's even a story of Giannis, because of the money he was making in the NBA. It was so important to him that he took care of his family back in Greece and in Nigeria that he was Western Unioning money back to his family. Before one of the games in Milwaukee, he went into a local store or whatever, sent money to his family, and he sent the money off. He walked outside. It was in the wintertime, 20 below apparently, when the story read. And he went back into, he's like, oh man, I got to get some cash out to get to the game because he didn't have a car. And he took out so much money and gave so much money to his family. He didn't have money to take cash out to get to the game, to an NBA basketball game. So he was about 2 miles from the gym, and he turned around and he took off and he started running to the gym in a just a pullover in his uniform. And there was a family that saw him running, and they pulled up next to him at a stoplight and was like, hey, are you the rookie guy for our Milwaukee Bucks? He's like, yeah. They're like, hey, jump in. We're going to the game. He got a ride to a game in the NBA. And literally there's like things online about it. And the woman who did it would happen to be somebody who's in the writing side of things. And so they posted a story. So you can look it up and read it. But he hopped in the back seat of the SUV and they took him to his game. And so, and then obviously you guys know Giannis today, right? For you guys that don't know basketball, maybe you're into sports. What you've seen in the last 2 weeks is a culmination of what he's been going through over the last few years. Not only has he is quoted and known in the NBA as one of the hardest working people in the gym that compared to his peers, that he has an insane work ethic is what his peers are saying. I saw things with Kevin Durant talking about, dude, this guy could change basketball. That's how good I think he is. And that's a lot of accolades coming from a guy like Kevin Durant. And I'll tell you, he's not only known for his work ethic, but he's known for giving and giving back to his family. And when I think of guys like this, again, one of the quotes I'll read you guys from an article, it says, he had no citizenship, he had no money, but young Giannis had hope. He and his brothers discovered basketball as preteens, and he constantly putting in hours of practice before, after everyone else left the gym. He had to provide way out of poverty for his family. Even at a young age, his athleticism was undeniable. But what set him apart from other players was his unparalleled work ethic. Giannis would practice every chance he could, shooting jump shots early in the morning, staying late. In the game, when the NBA came along, he did the same thing. His dream of playing in the NBA in America and lifting his family out of poverty was too close to coming true, so he had to do it. And on Tuesday night, he was quoted in saying, "This should make every person, every kid, anybody around the world believe in their dreams. No matter whatever you feel when you're down, when you don't think it's going to happen for you. You might not make it in your career, you might be in basketball, you might be in anything, but just believe believe in what you're doing and keep working. Don't let anyone tell you that you can be or you cannot do what you want to do." So, I'll tell you guys again. I saw on Twitter this week he went into Chick-fil-A and ordered 50 chicken nuggets for the 50 points he put up in the last game. And there's a couple of cool stats about that last game that put him over the top. He had 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, 2 assists, and there's that hasn't happened ever in the NBA. And the closest one to that was Shaquille O'Neal back in 2001. So I wanted to share that about Giannis. I think it's an incredible story. And, again, I just believe that there are, people in this world that are meant to make a difference. And I think the same about many of you in this business, what you do. So interesting story. Wanted to share that. So besides that, any of you guys, do you guys watch? Are you interested in the Olympics? Are you excited about the Olympics? Getting to watch some of maybe the soccer games or the swimming or the sprinting or anything in the Olympic side of things? Well, if you're not, hopefully I get you excited about it. I believe that people at their best, you can learn a lot about how to be successful at whatever you're doing. Has anybody heard of the name Simone Biles? Anybody know that name, Simone Biles? So Simone Biles is a gymnast. In Rio, she won 4 gold medals. She won a silver, so 5 total. If she wins a few more medals, 2 or 3, she can become the most decorated Olympian in history. She has currently 25 total medals, not only in the Olympics, but also in world competition. 19 golds, 3 silvers, 3 bronzes, and she's 24 years old. 24 years old, which is crazy. Now, what you don't know about Simone Biles, again, what we all see is this finished product. And, I feel that way sometimes when people, meet the owners in our business and our partners in this business. All you see sometimes is a finished product and who they are now. What you don't see is the years of development, the years of growth, the challenges, the struggles. What you may not know about Simone Biles and her sisters is at a very young age, she was in foster care. Her family, her parents in particular, struggled with substance abuse. So she got taken away. And, it took her years of that, kind of challenge of going through that. Finally, her grandparents stepped in and adopted her and helped her get on track. And, she obviously ended up being an amazing gymnast. And again, she's another person that's known as one of the hardest working athletes in her sport. In 2016, and just so you guys know, gymnasts, you may not know this, they don't make a lot of money for gymnastics. So she was a gold medal winner in 2016. Corey, I see on the call here. Any guess on how much she made, how much money she earned for winning a gold medal at the Olympics?
So I'm assuming we're just going straight on competition and not on like sponsorships, right?
Correct. Just on winning being the best gymnast at the Olympics at her sport. You know what she got for winning that?
$50,000.
$25,000.
That's wild.
For being the best. Like, talk about the amount of gymnasts there are in the world You are the best at what you do. Congrats, here's 25K. I gave my last outside deal 25K to open his office. Right? It's like, it's unreal. It is unreal that you can be the best. Now she won a couple different events at that Olympics, and she actually ended up walking away with 110,000 for winning 4 or 5 again events, but being the best at her event 4 or 5 different times. And I'll tell you, in the articles I read about her, and she, to your point, Corey, because when you win the Olympics, yes, then you start getting sponsorships, and yes, but all this time put into it, she's not making any money. She's not. I mean, there's no guarantee that she was going to win, or anyone's going to win at the Olympics, and they're doing it after, to really give a pure heart and the dream of being the best at what they do. And yes, she did get some endorsements for sure since then, and she's done quite well since then, and has become a millionaire since then. But one of the articles I read about her, she has an incredible fear of going broke. So she lives every day, and she attacks her day in the gym and her sport like she has nothing, and everything above that is a huge positive. Right. And I think that's a huge lesson. I think, it's amazing. This article I read about her was talking about how she literally lives so far below her means that some of her peers in the sport kind of give her a hard time about it. And, I've seen that in life and business. There's a few years there as I was having kids and things, I didn't have the Porsches and the BMWs and whatever. I downsized a few things. I was having kids. I had no idea what the next, the kids are expensive, right? And I want to give so much to my family, and I want to take care of them so much. For me, I can live on almost nothing. Like as much as I like the Range Rover and the other things of it, doesn't like get me up every day to work hard. No, my deep driver is being, one, to make my family proud, to make my parents proud, and also to come through for my family, my kids, and my wife. And so I think it's an incredible thing. And by the way, Simone Biles is so good at her sport that they have 4 or 5 moves in gymnastics that are named after her. So not only has she come in and been great at her sport, she's redesigned her sport. She's leveled up her sport and taken it to a new level. So an interesting. So if you get a chance to watch Simone Biles gymnastics Olympics, I think it'd be pretty cool to see her. So there's a few others, again, in running, and I'll tell you, if you guys that don't know this, my wife was a heptathlete at Rutgers. So, for the last 30, 60 days, the trials were going on, the Olympic trials, people qualifying for the Olympics. And so it was almost an every other day thing that we were watching somebody qualify for the Olympics, because it's huge. It was in Seattle. And I almost couldn't do it kids wise because of babysitters and whatever, but I almost took my wife to Seattle for a weekend for fun to see it. But there's a few people in running. There's another guy named Noah Lyles that you may not know. Noah Lyles, he's a 200-meter champ. He's a Florida Gator from South Florida. You guys may not know this, but he is known as someone, for you guys that know, athletes, you guys know the name Usain Bolt. This guy from Jamaica that, set a lot of records and did a lot of cool stuff. And at one point I thought was going to play in the NFL, they were talking about. But Noah Lyles in the 200-meter recently ran a 19.5. And that's the fastest speed since Usain Bolt in the 2012 Olympics. So there's a lot of chirping going on right now that he has an opportunity to break some of the world records at this Olympics. But again, what you may not know about Noah Lyles is although he's in line to potentially win a gold at the Olympics, is he battles with depression and anxiety. And it's very overwhelming for him at times. And, now he even takes medication to make sure his, head's straight, and he kind of is able to grow through things. And, in the articles I read about him is everything around his insane work ethic again, and how much he uses running and he uses his athletic ability to battle with some things inside of him that he's battling with. And I think, unfortunately, in the world that we're in, especially in the last 12 to 24 months, when there's been a lot of craziness with the COVID side of things, and people working, not working, people getting laid off, family getting sick. And unfortunately, I know there's a lot of people I know that have family and friends that have passed away because of the craziness in the world. This stuff can be really hard. It can be really, really hard. And so I posted something in my little fitness group I have for my organization today. And if I could just share with you guys 20 years later in my career, how important it is to take care of yourself and to go to the gym and fill yourself up and do things that you enjoy doing, and carving out time on a daily basis to fill yourself up and to be disciplined about these things. That kind of stuff. And there's, again, stories of numerous successful athletes and professionals in the business world that talk about how important that 30 minutes is, or that hour is in the morning of you time. And for me, it's in the gym. Today I changed up my routine. I did exercises that I don't normally do because I just wanted to change the pace, and it was great, and I feel great about it. So again, I encourage you guys to do those types of things. And there's another girl, Sydney McLaughlin, that the first woman to ever run the 400 hurdles under 52 seconds. Another person to look out for in the Olympics if you're interested in seeing an American. Frankly, it's like she's so far ahead of everybody else, it's crazy. But the last person I want to talk about is a girl named Allison Felix. For those of you that go to Lifetime, Allison Felix is one of the I guess the people that helps promote Lifetime. I saw her in a couple different videos and stuff. But Allison Felix is a 9-time medalist. This is her 5th appearance in the Olympics. She's a new mom. And, back when she started running in high school, her high school teammates used to make fun of her, calling her chicken legs, because she has such long legs that it wasn't growth in body and whatever. It got her kind of being made fun of. And, during COVID, because again, she's older now, she's 35 years old. And her goal is to obviously finish this Olympics, and this is most likely going to be her last Olympics. But during COVID, while all these other athletes were trying to figure out ways to run and get in shape and whatever, she literally trained in the streets in LA. She trained on soccer fields. She trained on the beaches. She did whatever she had to do to get in shape, because being older in her sport, she had to offset some of this. She's running against people that are 19, 20, 21, 22. So the amount of training she had to put in just to be at the same save phase of the game was tough. And I say this to people that I hang out with a little bit. I say things like, hey, just try to keep up with me, right? I'm twice the age of some of you guys. I'm a bit older than you guys. And, but I do my best to set the tone and get in the gym. And, there's a few people have been working out lately with me, and they're like, oh man, he's a bit stronger than I thought he was. And it's like, hey, listen, I'm trying to stay relevant. I'm trying to, be strong. But the reason she's running, the reason it's so important to her to be at this Olympics is because she wants her daughter, who is, very young, 6 months to a year old, to see her win at the Olympics. And for her to prove and to show the world that it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter, what you did before, that you can still compete if you put your mind to it. And literally, she's one of the fastest girls in her event, and she's got 2 or 3 events she could possibly win. So listen, my thought today, guys, was, I got this from a good friend of mine, Yannick. We were talking last night in my house about different athletes and different things that are going on. And she's like, oh, you got the Klear channel tomorrow. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got to put some notes together for it. And I'd already been thinking about this, and I already shared some stories this week about some of these incredible people. But you know, I'll tell you guys, my message today is simply this. It does not matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what family you're born into. It does not matter what your parents did or do. It does not matter. What matters is what's inside of you and what you want and what you want to accomplish and the life that you want to live, living on your terms, nobody else's. Now, again, in corporate America, you're going to live on someone else's terms. In my opinion, thankfully, in our business, you have an opportunity to be an entrepreneur. You have an opportunity to run your own company and run it the way you want to run it. If you walk into my office, you're going to see a lot about soccer because it's my office. I put the things on the wall. You see a lot about Penn State in a place where Michigan and Michigan State is prevalent, unfortunately for them. But I put a lot of Penn State stuff up. You walk into my men's bathroom in my office, you'll see a Penn State, you know, the Beaver Stadium, right? Because it's my office, it's my business. And so, you know, I will tell you, everyone goes through stuff, even these Olympians, even Giannis. He didn't have a ride to a game in the NBA. Like, holy shit, right? But he gave so much to his family. That's why he did it. And, you know, again, ultimately, it really comes down to how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to get out of the situation when you're in? How bad do you want to get out of living paycheck to paycheck? How bad do you want to pay off your college debt? How bad do you want to have your own place? How bad do you want to wake up on a Tuesday and go golfing while you're still making money? How bad do you want to go to the World Cup? Like, how bad do you want it? It really comes down to that. And ultimately, I encourage you guys to never forget about your dreams. Never forget about why you do what you do. You know, I think that as long as you keep that close, you know, it may not happen overnight, it may not happen quickly, but it will happen. You know, we promoted someone to management this morning, to ownership in one of our offices in Philadelphia, and she's been through a lot of ups and downs. But when she's kind of gotten to the point she is now, you know, she said in her speech this morning that who she was a few years ago is not who she is today. And I truly believe that you have to become the best version of yourself. If you're not to your next promotion, if you're not, you know, moving towards where you want to go, well, there's a reason for that. And in my career, it's been all on me. I've had to level myself up. I'd had to improve my skills, improve my attitude, improve my vision, improve me. So I encourage you guys to know that, you know, we got a lot of cool people in the world that, in my opinion, you know, this Giannis guy, just another story of hope, another story of example that you can do whatever you want to do. So happy Friday, guys. Thanks for jumping on today. We appreciate your time. Have an amazing weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.